Good morning, Wednesday morning. Hope you had a good rest, middle of the work week if you're working Monday through Friday. And we're looking at Galatians chapter 6, verses 1 and 2. Let me read that verse, the first verse again. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such a one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. Now, let's look at some reactions. Let's look at some unbiblical reactions that we may have, and I'll give you three this morning briefly. Number one, we're glad that it's happened to them. Great indiscretion, whether it's financial or their fidelity or their immorality or whatever. We're glad because we don't maybe like the individual or maybe what they stand for. They don't think the way we think, whatever. So the natural, the fleshly reaction is to be glad that this is happening because they'll be discredited, that they will not be able to do what they've done anymore. And it is sad, isn't it? It sounds horrible. It sounds horrible that even Christians can be glad that someone else has faltered and has failed. Not saying that's a proper and biblical reaction. To the contrary, it isn't. But that is some of the reactions that has happened of this style, and what can happen for those who feel particularly great shame or whatever. And there's been a number of them who have taken their own lives. They just cannot face the shame or the ridicule that has come as a result of their actions. So first reaction can be that people are glad this has happened to them. How carnal can we be, right? Number two, we gossip. Oh man, we tell people by, under the guise of prayer request, pray for so-and-so. They had, this has taken place. And we give just enough information that it intrigues other people to ask about what's taking place and so on. And so we gossip, we tell other people when it's not maybe our news to share or not our concern to go on, but to just, again, when that comes your way, we can stop that. Gossip can be stopped. We'll look at that biblical response. But we gossip, we tell other people, and with the intention of because we're glad, because we're happy, secretly happy that this has happened to them, and we knew that their life couldn't be real. We knew that this is all a facade. We knew that they couldn't possibly can have this kind of success or God's blessing upon them without some sort of indiscretion of some kind in their life. So we're glad this is happening because it's brought them down to where they need to be brought down to. We can gossip and tell other people about them, whether aggressively or passively. We can gossip and we can just share this because, again, we're glad this has taken place. Thirdly, we glory. We glory in their downfall. Again, not a biblical response, but we glory in their downfall. We're happy that they can't receive recognition anymore. That they won't be, he or she will not be asked to be speaking in public and so on. We glory, and as a result of glorying in their downfall, glorying in their consequence of what's going to take place, the shame and the humility that they'll suffer, we glory in ourselves because it's a comparison. I would never do that. If I was in that position, I would never have, right? Sometimes saying, I forget where I got it from or whatever, but the best person that could be an occupation is. So, for example, the best person to be the president or the prime minister of a country, the leader of a country, is one who's never been one, right? The best person to be CEO is a person who's never been one. Why? Because they're not in that. They're not part of that. They're not having that responsibility and so on, right? So the best person to be a leader is the one who's never been one. There's no perfect leader. We can find that apart from Christ. There is no perfect leader. Strengths or weaknesses are going to be different. So as we glory not only in the downfall, in that indiscretion, but we glory in ourselves that we lift ourselves up, that we would never participate in that. That's all unbiblical. We're glad, which is wicked. We gossip, which is wicked. And we glory. Shame on us if we do so. We'll continue to look tomorrow at the biblical response.